Good morning. Woohoo, winter has cometh, it seems. Like walking in and out of the house this morning is really a very, I can't say bright morning, it's definitely not that, but it's definitely a very, I don't know what the word is. What is the word? Help me out. Tell me, like, what kind of morning is it this morning where you are? And welcome. Really excited to have Kim Potgieter on the show this morning. And going to be talking about how to do a midlife money makeover. And I realized, I don't know, I'll probably ask her the question around, when do you know you've hit midlife? I don't know. Is there a definition? Is there an idea around it? I don't know. I mean, like, if you only live for 30 years, wouldn't you be midlife by 15? So this is going to be quite an interesting conversation. And how do I, make over my money? Because I think so many of us are in that position, and very, very apt to be talking about that this morning. But before we do that, we're going to have the lovely Lelani Bezuidenhout from the Financial Planning Institute, as well as Norma Simons doing the personal development segment. And then I'll be talking to Kim. And after that, I'll be doing an update, important things for you to know about. And with that, without any further ado, I'm going to straight go over to the new studio. But before maybe I do that, let me just quickly say good morning. Good morning, Ben Kleinhans. You're in the house first this morning, followed closely by Kobus Klein. Good morning, Kobus. David on the other side. Eigengrau, what is that? I don't know. How's it going there by you? Tinus, good morning. Goeiemôre. Was lekker om gister met jou te gesels. Goeiemôre, Louis. Nice to see you. Ben says chilly. Razan, good morning. And then my friend Mark, how are you, Mark? Awesome to see you. It's cold in Melbourne. We saw such a beautiful picture yesterday on Windows on the screen that opens up, and it was a picture from Melbourne. It was such a beautiful picture. Don't ask me where it was. My wife showed me. So, yeah, good stuff. And then quickly in there is Herman. Good morning. A fresh morning. Yeah, I think that's the word probably I was looking for. It's a very, very fresh morning. So with that, let me not take up too much time. Let's go over to Lelani in the new studio and hear what the latest is in financial services. And Lelani, here we go.
Good morning, Francois and team. It's wonderful to see a full house this morning with a few familiar faces. Ben, Kobus, it's lovely to see all of you again this morning. And I'm tuning in from Pretoria. It is a bit chilly, but I must tell you, it's a stunning morning. I love waking up early and just watch the sun rise. It's one of the best times of the day for me, where I reflect and think about what challenges do I have and how do I turn those challenges into opportunities for the day. And just quickly, when you're in your midlife, Francois, look at the mortality tables, look at your life expectancy. If you're going to live 100 years and you hit 50, well, that's your midlife, I would say, literally. But all right, let's have a look at what's new and what we need to update you with. I'm going to start with an obvious one that we should know by now, and that's that the repo rate remained unchanged at 3.5%. Now, if we look at inflation being at an all-time high in the past 2 years, we're sitting at about 4.4% at this point in time. There was no, it's not unexpected that the repo rate remained unchanged because we're still in some form of recovery for the economy whilst consumer confidence is coming back. And also, if you look at the equity markets doing a bit better with the stronger rand. Then furthermore, if you look at what the governor said, he said, don't get too excited. This is not going to last forever because as we know, the flow of money within South Africa is controlled via the monetary policy mechanisms that we have. Is when inflation is too high, well, guess what? The interest side will then try to control the flow of money. Then something interesting that came to my attention is the Competition Commission. So are they busy? What are they doing? Now, within the post-COVID environment, well, in fact, we're still in COVID, South Africa going into the start for the people that's from our global audience online. South Africa is moving into our third wave. Our average infections now per day is about 2,800. And it's also a strange variant coming through. So people are scared to go to the malls. So you'll find that everybody shops online. So guess what the Competition Commission is focusing on? They're focusing on what they call an online intermediation platform market inquiry. So what does that mean? So they're looking at the businesses and consumers where there is transactions happening. So you buy your shoes online, you buy your IT equipment online, Uber, you buy your food online. So what they're doing is they're investigating that. Why are they doing it? Is it because they're not busy and they need to pay salaries? Absolutely no. They're doing the inquiry just to make sure it's a proactive measure to understand what the e-commerce market looks like in South Africa, but also just to make sure that the consumer at all times is treated fairly. But also, if there's competition, is there unfair competition? Is there somebody trying to manipulate the market? What's happening there? Then from an FPI perspective, if you're watching our social media, you'll see that we started with the convention, The Future is Human. I think it's a fantastic theme coming through. So thank you very much for our committees that helped us with selecting speakers, themes. But I'm not going to tell you now what's in the agenda because that's still coming. It's very exciting. We have international speakers again. But the future is human. Thank goodness for that. But then also, if you would have seen on social media that we talk about the financial planning week that we have in April, 4 to 8, not in April, in October, 4 to 8 October 2021, we will then coordinate a lot of activities that we have around Financial Planning Week, and it's also a global initiative. And this initiative is to help people understand the robustness and the need for financial planning, but also to profile the profession. And this is where we really need your help. Please help us with making Financial Planning Week in October a massive success. We need your help. We need your time to help us with FPI My Money 123 program that we also have. Then I'm going to state the obvious. Sorry about that. But your CPD cycle is coming to an end next week, Monday. It's a Monday, the 31st of May. So if you hadn't meet your FSCA requirements, but more specifically FPI requirements, remember it's 35 CPD hours. What I do see is I find that members think, I've got 35, I can relax now, but make sure you are compliant, because many times we have somebody who's got 35 hours, but you maybe are short on your technical knowledge, which includes estate planning, retirement planning, all those technical knowledge that you need to be up to date with. So that's an obvious one. Sorry about that. But in case you forgot that we're almost at the end of May, that's your reminder. Then just something that I want to read, seeing that we have Kim online today. I do have a book. I must tell you, it's really a nice book. You need to use it in line with the journal that she has, because you work. So Pierre and I, that's my husband, we're working through this book together. And I keep on revisiting, but there's a quote, and Kim, I hope you don't mind that I read it. It's in the introduction of a book, and it's Carl Jung, who says, and this is where I've got evidence that I'm in the afternoon of my life. I need glasses. But we cannot live the afternoon of life according to the program of life's morning. In other words, your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, whenever you hit midlife. So we cannot live the afternoon of life according to the program of life's morning. For what was great in the morning will be little at evening. And what is in the morning was true will at evening have become a lie. So I think this is quite a wonderful analogy, morning, afternoon, and at evening. I think I'm in the afternoon of my life, but I am having fun. And with that, Francois, again, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to your audience and to say hi again. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Lelani. Very nice. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I was so excited when I got in this morning and I saw you were doing the news. So thank you very much. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and we'll chat soon.
Blessings.
Very much. Thanks. All right, awesome. With that, let's go over to Norma and hear what she has to say this morning. Really excited. I'm not going to share what the topic is, but I was very excited when she told me what she's talking about. So let me keep you a little bit in suspense, and let's go over to Norma.
Good morning. I'm so glad to be back. So let me reveal the topic of the day. So we're talking about self-care today. So I don't know if you have a self-care routine, But if I think of self-care, or if you might think of self-care, we might be thinking of different things. So some people might think that taking a holiday or taking a break is self-care. Someone might think that taking a long hot bath after a hard day is self-care. So we have different ways of expressing the self-care. And the reason we really do self-care is really just to feel good about ourselves. It is we're doing it to sort of pamper ourselves and to make time for ourselves and make ourselves feel important. So some do this on a daily basis, some might be doing it on a monthly basis, and others might do it annually. So I have a couple of things that I want to offer you today that you not necessarily have to do or even leave your home to do. So this can happen instantly. So we don't need to put extra time in our diaries, or we don't even have to spend money to be doing self-care. So let me dive into it. So the first thing we can do is to make decisions that is really in our best interest. So if I want to say yes, that I say yes. And if I want to say no, that I will say no. And not trying to people please or being bullying into making decisions. Another one is to setting myself up for my best future. So looking at, let's say, 10 or 20 years down the line, what can I do today that's going to sort of hook me up with my future self? And that not necessarily is all the easy things, but that might be doing the hard things like building a business or working on my relationships, or maybe working on my body, making sure that I refuel my body. Another one is awareness. So awareness is really noticing our thoughts, feelings, and our actions. So if we don't feel great on a particular day, maybe investigating what are we thinking that is leading us to feel a certain way. And if there's no action in our life, then what are we feeling? Are we maybe feeling demotivated? That's why we're not taking action. And then diving deeper into going, what thoughts is creating this demotivation? Maybe I have thoughts of, I'm not good enough, or what I put out in the world is not good enough. Another one is to have a positive self-concept and self-love. So what is your opinion about yourself? Do you, on a continuous basis, maybe put yourself down or don't acknowledge your achievements? And self-love. So am I continuously judging myself, or am I giving myself a bit of leeway when I make mistakes? And to always be honest with myself and with others. So I need to be telling myself the truth as well as others. So maybe looking at stories that I'm telling myself that might be unconscious, that I can maybe bring up to the surface and make it conscious. And always tell people how I truly feel, being my authentic self. And I know it's sometimes difficult because we always want people to like us, but that needs to happen even if someone is not happy with our decisions. Another one is self-respect, and just to be self-accountable. So if I respect myself, my body, I respect my time, I respect my emotions, I don't just press them down or get distracted, I don't feel my feelings. If I don't respect my time, then how can someone else respect my time? Also setting boundaries, that sort of thing. And then self-accountability. So it's always nice to have a accountability partner, but I think there's times where our accountability partner isn't always available. And in that instant where we need to make decisions, we need to hold ourselves accountable and know that we can rely on ourselves. And another one is to always support ourselves. So even if we make the mistakes, we move on, not to be dwelling on what we've done in the past that we could have done better. And then lastly is to be responsible for our thoughts and feelings. So we know that what we think determines how we feel. So we can't put the responsibility on an external circumstance or people to make us feel a certain way. We know that our thinking determines how we feel. So then lastly, just a very powerful question that we can ask ourselves that will always lead us to being to be in self-care or loving ourselves is, asking yourself this question. So if I love myself, what would I want for myself? So if you are in a scenario where you are maybe pressured to make a decision, or a client might be pressuring you for a deadline which you didn't agree on initially, to ask yourself that question. If I love myself, what would I want for myself? So, and that would obviously lead you to what I want in the moment. And that would be, and not necessarily, again, taking the easy way out, but what do I want from myself right now? Do I want that calmness? Do I want to be relaxed? Do I want to be focused? Do I want to spend quality time with my client? Do I want to be present? Instead of maybe making the decision that is going to people please. So I've given you a lot to think about. These are really just sort of internal ways that leads us to self-care and self-love, instead of going and doing those external things, which is obviously, it's a great way to sort of refuel and make time for yourself. But in that instant moment where we sort of feel we want to give ourselves love or self-care, then that's always available to us. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Norma. Fantastic. Hope you have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you again next week.
Great. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Awesome. Enjoy. Bye-bye. All right. And with that, it is time to bring on my featured guest, and looking forward to introducing Kim Potgieter and to have an amazing conversation with her this morning. So let's do exactly that. Good morning, Kim. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Francois. Thanks for having me. What an entrance. How's that video?
It's awesome, eh? It's on fire. So, yeah, just maybe, I think many people know of Kim Potgieter. If you're anywhere near LinkedIn or anywhere on social media or in the news, you listen to radio shows and things, you should have heard either Kim speak, or at least you've seen her somewhere. Maybe you don't know her personally, but I think so many of us in the profession knows about Kim Potgieter. So Kim is a leading authority on holistic financial planning, and she's helped hundreds of clients put money in its right place. And I really like that's the thing that many of us struggle with. And she does that as a tool towards leading the life they really want. So very focused on lifestyle planning and that. So really amazing work that she's been doing. We know that she's a registered certified financial planner. She's a professional certified coach with the International Coach Federation. She's certified Dare to Lead. That's Brené Brown, if I'm not mistaken, and a new story mentor coach. And then she also, something that I think few people know, is that she has an industrial and clinical psychology degree as well, which helps her a lot in assisting her clients with their relationship with money and changing money habits that they don't deserve. Kim has written her first book back in 2015. It was called Retirement. Many people may think that that's a spelling mistake, but it was meant to be retirement, to get more meaning from your money. And that was back in 2015. And now she's written another book, which I'll be talking to her about. But Kim, welcome. And before we talk about the book, I really want to get into your story of how you, landed up in financial planning and why you do this amazing, I don't want to call it a job because it's a calling, I think. And if I look at you, it's definitely a massive calling for you. But where did this originate from? How did this all start? Very interesting to hear that story.
Thanks, Francois. We got a long time this morning, eh?
Give us the short version.
I'll give it the short version. I must say, when you're talking about my CV there, I'm going, oh my gosh, this is like a hell of a mouthful. But it's been an exciting journey. It's been an absolutely incredible journey. And your guess from all those qualifications that you had to read out, I love learning. And my big thing is I love learning. And when I love learning, I love sharing it. I'm not one of these people that learn for the sake of it. I just want to share it. And hence where the books come in. It's me sharing for myself, everything I've learned for this industry. Again, what you said is so true. This is not a job for me. Every single day that I wake up, I do believe I earn a paycheck. I love what I do, and I just happen to get paid for it. And I like to encourage people to think like that. Where did it all come from? I think, you know, it was a second career that I came into at the age of 37. I had studied psychology at university. I'd been working, but deep down inside, I wanted to be helping people with their relationship with money. I wasn't quite sure. Age of 22, wrote Di Turpin a letter, and it said to her, you know, I really want to come into the industry and help the industry, because I believe the industry needs to focus more on the person and less on just the money and investments. And she wrote me back saying, you know, really good luck. 10 years on, I was having you're going to ask me just now, you said about which age midlife is, but it's whenever you're anticipating a major change. And for me in my 30s, there came a time where I wanted a change. And I had to ask myself then what it was I really wanted to do. And I remembered it was inside me. I wanted to help people with their relationships with money. And I went to study more in psychology. And while I was doing it, it was an aha moment for me, Francois. I thought, nobody goes to a psychologist to talk around money. Nobody. Everybody goes to see their financial planner. And then I had to learn about your industry, and I had to learn how to become a financial planner. I remember contacting Andrew Bradley, who was the head of Access at the time, because I'd read his article, and I thought, wow, this is what I want to be, you know, a financial planner that has these kind of ideas and philosophies. And he said to me, Kim, you need to get a certified financial planner. And I'm embarrassed to say, but I had to go and research what it was, then registered to study it, and then come into the industry. Because as he said, no one in the industry, I couldn't do this work unless I had the proper kind of qualifications. So that's what I did. And then I entered the industry, it's 13 years ago, as an administrator working at Chartered Wealth Solutions. And the rest's been history, Francois. I mean, it's 13 years now in the industry, and yes, I am quite a big mouth, so a lot of people have got to hear me, but it's a passion to put your clients first, and absolutely love this industry.
Yeah, amazing. And there's a couple of times that you mentioned you reach out to this person and to that person, I mean, even at the age of 22. And I think that's a big lesson for many of us, just in terms of, you know, how do you get where you want to go is by reaching out to other people and not being afraid to reach out. I mean, because even at the tender age of 22, I mean, that must be a massive thing to reach out to somebody who in your mind at that point in time is at a certain level in their career as well, you know. So I think there's a big lesson just in that. Obviously, we're very happy that you made this move and are able to add a lot of value to the industry. And that's the big thing that I really enjoy, Kim, is that, I mean, you could have kept all of this for yourself. You could have just, you know, focused on giving all of this to clients and really go out there and just do that. But you also do a lot of work in the profession in order to help. I know you're involved in a lot of I want to call them communities or networking groups and so forth. I know Women in Finance is a big one for you, but you're very involved everywhere to also help elevate the profession and give back to the profession. And I think that's amazing that you're doing that. So very happy that that's happening. So let's delve into the book, because I do want to get as deep as possible into the book. I'm really excited about this new book that you've released recently. It's not just been released; it's been released now a little bit, like almost a month. Is it? When was it released?
I think we're 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay. Yeah, but time flies so quickly. You can't. So awesome. So Kim's. Yeah. So Kim's book is called The Midlife Money Makeover, and it is an interesting book to say the least. So let's get into it. I mean, Kim, what sparked the book? I mean, where did this come from? If you think you started off with retirement, I know your focus is a lot on helping people either in retirement or moving into retirement to help them design the life and then match the money to that. But where did the Midlife Money Makeover come from?
We've probably got something to do with the fact that I've entered my 50s. So I'm in that midlife transition. That was one of the big reasons. But Francois, it also was because when I'm working with people in retirement, and it is what I do every day, help people near at and in retirement. But the advice that they keep giving me is, Kim, if only someone had spoken to me about this when I was younger. If only I'd done this when I was younger. So I knew deep down as I finished retirement from all the interviews that I'd done with people that there was another book coming, and it was for a younger group. So it was to start it early. I also realized from the book Retirement what was needed now working with people needed to be able to have some tools to improve their relationship with money. When they come and see all of us as financial planners, we're telling them where to invest their money, but what we're not doing necessarily is helping them with their relationship with money. So in this new book, there's a huge focus around your relationship with money. And then the third element that I realized that was so important was more self-awareness work. And as you mentioned, I went to study with Brené Brown overseas, and her work is revolutionary. And I've brought it in the concept of money and how do you redesign this next chapter of your life by doing some self-awareness work. So there was a number, and also I was just getting more and more stories. I love my clients. They are so happy to share their stories. And I believe if we can share stories, we can share tools, we can really change people's relationship with money, and we can have way more clients as an industry because all of a sudden we're having people that are focusing on their money, they're taking it seriously, and that's been a huge drive for me in writing the books, and always all the way through the books, both Retirement and Midlife Money Makeover, I'm saying you can't do this on your own. Do this work, take it to your financial planner, have these discussions with your financial planner. It is essential in life that you have a financial planner. So it's my way of promoting the industry. It's my way of encouraging people to get financial planners. And that's been the focus of this new book.
Yeah, awesome. So tell me then, so let's get into this, like, what does midlife mean? Because now I don't know, like last year I turned 45. And I don't know, a flip switch. I don't know what happened. A lot of things that I never worried about, I suddenly started worrying about it just happened automatically. So is there something that sparks this thought to us that say, well, maybe we should review where we are. We may be sort of halfway. I mean, does the biological clock play any role there? Or is it a mindset thing? Is it a feeling? Is it an age thing? Like, what is midlife?
So, officially as a definition in my book and from the research, 45 up is midlife. So you're there. Sorry. But you know what? It's not something that you should not want. It's something for me where you're bringing incredible wisdom. So I do believe, and I firmly believe, that this can be your best chapter yet. But it requires that you put a little bit of work into it, a little bit of reflection into it, and actually you do it with some kind of intention. So, Francois, don't be scared of it. It's not this midlife crisis everybody talks about. And I think so many people go, oh, even when I've been interviewed on the radio now about, oh, tell us about the midlife crisis. No, that's not the message I'm giving at all. The message I'm giving is let's do this kind of work, and then all of a sudden, it's not a crisis. We're not going out there buying new cars, changing relationships. What we are doing there is we're listening. So you say, how do you know when it comes? It's that little voice that's talking to you. We all have this little voice, and it's not this big noisy one in our heads. It's the small one that's coming from inside of us that's saying, is this all I'm meant to be? Is this what I'm meant to do with my life? And it's stopping us. And if we listen, most people don't listen because they don't like change and they just ignore it. But my encouragement in the book is that you listen to it and you do the work, and then you're going to take your next chapter up to one of huge significance and value, as opposed to being one of the statistics and saying, oh, I had a midlife crisis.
Yeah, I think we inexplicitly link the word crisis to midlife because that's how we always hear it. I'm just thinking, I always have time for a quirky joke, but maybe because when you reach midlife, you know why this is the best part of your life ahead of you now is, well, one, apart from all the experience and things you've got, it's downhill from here. So you can really pick up speed and do things much quicker than you did previously, But what I did want to ask you...
I've got to disagree with you quickly, because for me, what it is, not downhill. Well, for me, what it is you've accumulated all of this knowledge. You've actually dropped a whole lot of the things that you worry about that you now realize that is not that important, and now you can make much better decisions a lot faster if you open and your mindset's right, because you're actually cleverer.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have momentum. That's what you have. All right. So what do most people struggle with when it comes to midlife? Once you realize that, maybe there's, like, as you say, it's actually a little voice. So it's a feeling. It's becoming aware that, you know what, somewhere I'm now in a different place. And for some people, that's very like, oh, what's going on? For other people, it's amazing, you know, but what do you find that when it comes to midlife, what do most people then struggle with when they realize that they decide that they're there?
Well, Francois, I think the first thing is that we don't like change. We as people do not like change. So when something like this happens, it's much easier to dig our head in the sand and ignore that there's change happening. So I think that's the number one. The number two is people don't really want to go into their mindset. And it is completely a mindset. So, you know, earlier we were hearing in the wellness section, your thoughts, okay, your thoughts going on in your head. And when you getting into midlife, you go, oh my gosh, I'm getting into midlife. I absolutely hate this. I don't want to be there. So if you're doing that, then you're going to have a negative anticipation of this. Whereas if you're doing it where I'm in midlife and I want to make sure that the next chapter I'm not disappointed and I get to live my life to its fullest, then all of a sudden that completely changes. So mindset, huge. And I think just absolutely the acceptance that change is happening, not to fight it, to go with it, and actually put the intention into it being what you want it to be.
Yeah, I just want to add, that was just a quirky joke that I made about the downhill thing. I know it's not like that. I just want to add that people don't always get my humor. So just if somebody was listening and thinking, like, Francois, you're such a negative person, that's not the point. So what are the opportunities presented? You know, so that's what we started. I think you've alluded to some of this, but what are the biggest opportunity, you know, in being in midlife or reaching midlife? And then also, like, if somebody has been in this position, and they've been there for quite a long time, but they haven't really done anything about it because they thought like they don't know what's going on, they don't know why they feel like they feel, you know, is there a point where, like, should this happen in midlife? Or if you've moved past midlife, is this too late? So what are the opportunities presented here and that people should just grab with both hands?
So you definitely, it's never too late. I mean, I get these questions all the time from people who come in even to discuss their retirements and say, you know, it's too late now. I haven't looked after my investments. I haven't done what I'm meant to do. And I always say, it's never too late. It's way better to still get a plan in place. So if you, at any stage, you can still get your plan. I mean, it might just be a very different plan to somebody that's been planning for a lot longer. So, and also, I mean, I've had some really great feedback about the book, people who've read it in their 20s and people who are reading it in their 70s and saying, but Kim, it absolutely applies to me. I think the big thing in this book, I've called it midlife, but it's about change. How do I make the changes I want to have the life that I really want to be leading? And so, yes, I don't think there's any age specific in it. I think you just need to have that mindset that you're looking for the change. And Francois, a lot of it is where people don't realize that money is the enabler. So that's why in the book, the life and the money part are so interconnected, because what I'm trying to tell people is money is your enabler. Make sure you're looking after it. Otherwise, there's so much that you're not going to be able to do because you haven't got a proper plan in place for your money that's going to give you the freedom to do the things that you really want to do in this midlife of your in life.
Yeah. So let's get a little bit practical, Kim, because like when you have to go through this change, I know that the book's the sub headline sort of talks about an easy to follow process, and there's a 4-step process that sort of you outline in the book of where to start and how you actually go through this midlife money makeover. So can we talk a little bit about just what are those 4 steps? Because I like what you have called them. It's quite awesome. I like the play on the play buttons and all of that. So talk us a little bit through that, and then we'll just delve in a little bit. So just what are the 4 steps, and then I'll get into what each of them actually entail.
So, Francois, just before we get to the 4 steps, it was very much for me, I was playing on a bit of a musical theme in the sense that what's the song in your head? What's the song of your next chapter going to look like? So that's hence some of those. Because what I wanted people to know is that the first place that they need to go in life is to pause. You know, we we talk about it. We're so busy. We're so busy doing all of these things that are so urgent and chasing them, so that we don't like reflect. Even Lilani was mentioning that she's working through this with her husband. It's so important just to take that time out to be able to do it. So for me, where you need to start is to pause, is to give yourself some time away, time, that where you're going to focus on what it is you're trying to create with your life. So that's definitely for me the main place. And then once you've done that, it's then to say, okay, what do I need to, you're reflecting on it. What has really worked for me, and what do I need to take out? Because they're definitely, coming through this first chapter of our life, there's things that we've picked up. And I talk a lot in the book about your beliefs around money. There's a lot of beliefs we've got about what we should be in midlife. There's a lot of beliefs around what other people think of us. And my whole feeling is around, it's time now to see what's worked and what hasn't worked. And then the important part is now to start editing, because you need to get rid of some of the stuff that hasn't been working. Why do we need to just keep what hasn't been working going forward and going forward and going forward? So it's this editing section of our lives where we edit out some and we make sure we keep what's really worked for us. And then finally, it's to play. I mean, life is serious. It is. It really is. And if you can get to a place in your life where you are also earning a paycheck, I mean, obviously, I'm encouraging everybody to do that. There's no need to retire in the formal sense where you will no longer be working, because what you've done is you've constructed a life where actually you're still contributing, and you can contribute for a lot longer. Your investments have time to grow, and you just really are living this much more meaningful life, which I think so many of us want. And I think COVID has been a wake-up call for us, where we're saying, let's stop worrying about this instant gratification, getting what we want right now. Let's put the planning in place, and let's do the work so that this next chapter can be the best one yet.
Yeah, I love the play check. I don't know if people caught that, a play check.
Well, that I actually learned from Mitch Anthony, Francis. So you talk about people. He was one of the people, the people who've heard my story before. How I brought life planning into Chartered Wealth Solutions was going and spending a week with Mitch in the States, where he taught me. I've had the most incredible journey where people have been so generous at teaching me. And I think that's why, for me, also important with the books and talking as much as I can is I have it inside me that because people have been so generous with me, that I want to share this with our industry, because together, and shows like what you're doing and amazing work that people are doing, this is what's taking our industry forward as a professional industry. It's what's taking us to the next level. So yeah, it's just a wonderful opportunity to be able to share via books as well.
Yeah, definitely. And this is something that thinking about it, this is a book that will be evergreen. It's not a book that are based on current events this is things that you'll be able to use. If somebody picks this up 50 years from now, it's going to be extremely valuable to them, in my opinion. So was that sort of one of the main drivers as well, to make sure that this will be an everlasting book? Was that part of the process?
I can't say I thought of it exactly like that, but what I was putting in the book are all the difficult conversations that we can't ever have. If I can tell you the number of people that come in and tell me how money is just one of those topics that nobody will talk to you about, that they feel so awkward talking about it, and it's as if it makes you feel totally naked when you're talking about your money. You go to that most vulnerable place, because people have a lot of shame when it comes to whether they've got a lot, whether they haven't got a lot. So I really put in the book conversations around what you could have with your partner, what you could be having with yourself, what you should be having with your financial planner that you might feel awkward having. And so for me, that was really a big driver in the book, was courageous conversations that you can't really have. I'm now giving you full permission to have them, because it's there. And once you've had them with yourself, you're much more inclined to be able to feel like you could have it with somebody else. Yeah.
And what is you've been doing this for such a long time. Like, what is the main reason why people feel like that they can't talk, or they don't want to? They're avoiding that subject. I had a conversation on the weekend with someone as well, the same story. It's like, and myself, it's like sometimes I know I need to be looking at certain things, but I avoid it. I don't want to deal with it. Like, where does it stem from mostly? Because I know I would assume that it's different for everybody, but is there an overarching theme Why don't we want to, well, one, even in my private capacity, if I'm here and I need to look at certain things in terms of financials for the business or my personal finances or whatever, like, why do we sometimes avoid just sitting down and doing that? And then obviously, like, to have those conversations then with someone else is even worse. But why is it so bad for people?
So Francois, it actually, I mean, I've done a lot of work, and the work I did is with somebody by the name of David Kruger. He's the new money story coach. Very much our beliefs around money and our relationship with money is formed by the age of 7. So most of us don't even understand that we have a relationship with money. We don't even understand what it is. So I like to take clients back and to realize where it's come from, what it is. Because we've been taught. So you're saying, why don't we like to talk about it? We're taught by our parents, we're taught about people around us, like money's a taboo topic, don't talk about money. People who've got any class don't talk about money. So there's so many false beliefs that we were taught about money. We also attach all these emotions to money, that money's power, money's love, money's freedom. So we've got all these words, but what money isn't. All money is this form of exchange. So we've attached all these emotions to it. We've got all these beliefs around it. And actually what we've done is we've made it become a huger thing in our life because we're not dealing with it. We're not talking about it. It grows and grows and grows. And then we've got these bad relationships and these bad habits that we're doing around our money. So for me, it's to have those conversations, to dispel all of that, because in real terms, I think also, maybe as an industry or maybe as in the financial world, people think of it, oh, that's the thing that's so complicated. I can't do it. I don't understand it. And really, it's not. And really what it is, first and foremost, before we even start investing and doing all of that, it's accepting we have a relationship with money. It's dispelling, editing out some of those false beliefs we've got about it, putting it in the right place, and actually just getting it to go out there and work for us, as opposed to us keeping it all the time as something we're chasing and not quite understanding.
Yeah, cool stuff. I want to know, in the book you talk about, there's a few tools that you offer as part of the book, because this is a very practical book as well. It's not just a read it book, it's actually a doing book as well. So what are maybe one or two of the tools that is offered in the book, and that is like you feel maybe the most valuable tools? I don't know if it's fair if you've got this stuff to say which one is your favorite, but but maybe one or two tools that's offered in the book that can help people with this.
Okay, so Francois, as you're saying, the way I constructed the book is very much a working book. If you're going to just read it, yes, you'll get something out of it, but to do the work is the important part. So right the way through the book, I call them midlife reflections. So in the book, there are 33 midlife reflections that you can do. These are actually questions that you need to ask. I've then constructed it into a journal, so you can get the journal separately and you can work through the book, and then you can answer the questions in your journal, which really helps. It's hard for you to say to me which is my favorite one. I've learned from incredible people. So again, the book is not just my insights. I had the privilege to spend a week with Chip Conley at the Modern Elder Academy in Mexico and learn all about this midlife transition. I've used Brené Brown's, some of her kind of questions around self-awareness. I've also worked with David Kruger around how do you make your new money story. So you can have one money story and now you need to make another money story. And then it's the incredible insights of the client. So at each and every opportunity, I share a story of what a client has said about it. So it's one of these real stories. It's not stories where you can't relate and you can't feel yourself in it. These are people who've done it. These are people that have been through it and their kind of insights and learnings from it. So for me, that's important. Again, my favorite exercise in the book, and I think it came while I was busy writing it, COVID hit. My husband was diagnosed with cancer, and I had to ask myself the question around, so now, Kim, all the planning, you have everything so perfect, but really you don't. What do you do when uncertainty comes? And how do you then pick yourself up, get back out there and carry on doing the work that you've been doing? So for me, probably my favorite exercise is the timeline exercise, where you go back and you see sometimes when things go wrong in your life, the challenges, how they make you be better coming forward. because often when you're in those challenges, you can't see your way out of it. So I'm going to take that as my favorite. And that's the first person that's asked me that question. So you really caught me. But I think if I say it's the timeline, it's going back, looking what's been before, and knowing that you have everything inside yourself that's going to take you forward. You have everything inside you to take you forward.
Good stuff. So how can financial advisors use your book to help their clients? Is that, is there any guidance on that if financial advisors are reading the book? Obviously, there's a lot of, I always say, like whatever we're learning, we first need to apply it to our own lives and make it our own and really go through the process ourselves, because then you get a deeper understanding, but also you can then talk with a lot more authority. I think you'll have less of an imposter syndrome if you just see something and then try and implement it, but you haven't really gone through it yourself. So that'll help with that whole thing there. But in your opinion, one, should financial advisors be using this book to help their clients, and then how can they do that?
So Francois, you are on the mark. I mean, if you're not prepared to even read these kind of this work or delve into it, clients will pick up if you're not being authentic on it. So you need to first of all believe in it and resonate with it, and then you can comfortably have the conversations with your clients. So there's a few ways. Definitely read it yourself. Another way is then to encourage your clients to do this work and then come and discuss it with you. And another way is just pick one or two of the exercises, have those, the reflections, and do that with your client. They will feel that you really are truly adding value to them. They will feel that they are the center and that you care enough about them. I know many financial planners, even with my book Retirement, used to buy it for their clients, write a message in the beginning, because all the way through I go, now discuss this with your financial planner. So I think you can work it in multiple ways, but have the conversations. And I think as we are grappling as an industry about our value proposition, I definitely do believe strongly, and again, this comes from work I've done with Mitch Anthony, we are here to give our clients both return on investment and return on life. And all of the insights in this book help you understand the midlife reflection, help you understand a lot of the stories that your clients have got going on in their heads, and maybe they just haven't had anybody to talk to them about. So they are so grateful when you're the one that brings it up.
Awesome stuff. So Kim, where can people learn more about you, the book? Where can they connect with you? If they're interested to do that, where can they find you?
I'd love them to connect with me. I'm on all the social media platforms, as you said in the beginning. I have a website, kimpotgieter.com. Obviously, I've got Chartered Wealth Solutions, which is work that we do with the clients. And then if you want to get the book, I've got an online store on my website where you can buy it, as well as all good bookstores, Amazon. I've had brilliant publishers. Media24 have been incredible publishers. They've managed to really get the book out there. And if anybody wants to know more about the book, on Tuesday night, I'm doing a launch, which it's an online launch because we can't have face-to-face launches. I'm having an online one, which you can book for on my website as well, and then come and learn more about the book.
Awesome. I love it. So, Kim, thank you very much. I hope that people are going to go out and get the book. You can also, I think, get it on Amazon as in the Kindle version. Is it available in Kindle?
Yes, it's in Kindle as well. For anybody overseas, I mean, that's the best option to get it on Kindle. I'm still, maybe it's because of my age, but I absolutely love holding my book, if I'm here in South Africa. And the journals are available off my website if you want to work through it with the journal and the book.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Kim, thank you so much for your time this morning. I really appreciate it. I hope you had fun and that it was a good conversation as much as it was for me. So best of luck, and hope to see you somewhere in person soon.
I look forward to it.
Awesome stuff. Keep well. All right. So what an amazing conversation. Amazing book. Definitely something I like what Kevin said there, is that it is an easy book to read, which is so important. Sometimes you pick up a book and it feels hard to read these books, but there you've got someone who said, like, this is such an easy book to read and really insightful. So also the other thing, doesn't matter what age we are, get the book, read the book, important. All right, with that, I'm just going to do some updates for you, things that I feel that you should know about, and that's coming in the next few weeks. So with that, let's head on over to the updates. everybody. So a lot of the stuff that I want to share with you is some exciting events and things that's coming up. The very first one that I want to share with you is the Global Financial Planning Conference. It's going to be the biggest global conference in the world this year. It's on between the 23rd and the 25th of June. And yes, I'm just looking over the wall here. So we've got over 100 speakers, 3 days, 3 mornings, if you will, so that we're doing this. And from South Africa, we start off in South Africa on the 23rd with many speakers from South Africa talking at this conference as well. And then also moving over to Australia, the US, and then we end up in the UK for the last leg of the conference. So really something that you should be looking at. So the price for this is £300. So it's about 6,000 Rand. If you are a member of PROpulsion Pro, that is discounted heavily. You get an early bird price until the 31st of May, where you will only pay £60, which is about 1,200 Rand. But to get that, you need to be a PROpulsion Pro member, so you can join. If you are interested in joining, it's very, very easy to do so. So let me show you. There is the monthly options. So if you want to pay, if you don't want to make any commitment, it's 500 Rand a month. If you want to make a 12-month commitment, it's 400 Rand. And then if you want to pay in advance for the year, for 12 months, it's 300 Rand so per month effectively. So it's 3,600 Rand up front. And it's not only the conference that you get at that heavily discounted price then. So you can see if you go with a 3,600, it's 4,800, it's less than that. But then you also get access to all the other events that we're doing, the challenges and all the other things. So yeah, a whole host of value that you can get by becoming a member. We've really grown well over since we've launched about a month and a half or so ago, 2 months ago. Really happy with where this is headed. So please consider joining. There's so much value. And then the most powerful thing about PROpulsion Pro is absolutely the community. It's the platform on which we engage and talk to one another and share. So please come and check that out. So you're more than welcome to do that. It's very, very easy if you want to do this, because you can just go to www.propulsion.co.za/pro. It'll take you straight to the page that highlights everything that you need to know. And then you choose a fee option, you complete the application, make the payment, and off you go. So very, very simple to do it. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. All the details are on the page there. So please reach out to me. And many of you do have my WhatsApp number anyway. So please consider joining us. It'll be great to have you as part of the community. Then also our next CPD event is coming up on the 2nd of, June. So every first Wednesday of the month, we have a new CPD event. So please keep an eye out on that. The stuff should go out this afternoon or tomorrow on the Saturday. So keep an eye out for that. PROpulsion Pro members get to attend that for free. But if you're not a member, there's a small fee to register and join us. Then something else that I think has been extremely valuable over the last few weeks has been the speaker and influencer program that we've been taking our members through as well. Learning to speak, some of them you'll see at the conference, speaking at the conference. But we had the opportunity to work with people like Daniel Colenso, who's an actor and a coach from the UK. We've also worked with Nick Elston on anxiety and emotional storytelling and those kind of things. So much value just by being a member of that. So really amazing, and just want to say thank you to everybody that's been a part of the speaker and influencer program. It's really amazing to see, one, the relationships that has formed, and secondly, just like how people are getting better and better at speaking and putting content together. So valuable. And we've also been driving the 30-day video challenge alongside it, which has been extremely well received. And when I'm looking there at people, I'm not going to call out names, but I was in tears the other night. We had a get together where we played a game, and the feedback that some of them gave there, that said, you know what, I'm so uncomfortable. I don't know well, but I'm pushing. I had tears in my eyes to just say, like, these people are go-getters, and they don't care how old they are. They don't care where they are. They are just pushing through. And if it wasn't for this challenge, they wouldn't never have taken that first step. And that is the amazing thing. And that's what we're trying to do with PROpulsion Pro, is not only give content, but help people actually implement that. Because that's often what's missing with content. When you do your CPD, great, tick your box, there we go. But it's about the implementation of these things, about using it so it makes a difference. It can only make a difference when we use the things that we are teaching in this program. So really excited about that. Next month, we're going to be doing the LinkedIn challenge. Now, to be part of these challenges, you don't need to be a member. But if you are a member, you get to do it for free. It's included in your membership. If you're not, there's 1,500 Rand to join the challenge. So we're going to do a LinkedIn challenge next month in part 1. And then again in July, a part 2, because there's two parts to that. So we're going to do a LinkedIn challenge to help you really up your LinkedIn game specifically. So look out for that. That will also be going out. All right, so that is that for today. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Thank you for joining us live. It's always better live. I really appreciate it when you do that. And I wish you all the best. We'll chat soon. So thank you very much. Keep well. I'll see you next time. And remember to stay safe and raise the bar. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.